Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank, hoping that you are having a better day than I am. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my squeaky chair, relax, and have a little conversation with all of you guys where I go over a viewer request because, yeah, one of the guys over on Discord has asked me to go over one of the more social aspects of gaming and hobbies and collecting and all that jazz. And that is how to deal with that guy at the local game store, whether it's a sore winner or loser, a disruptive little brat, or like a cheater at a game. And it is an unnecessary truth of life that with enough people at the local level, it doesn't matter how small or close knit your community is, there's gonna be a handful of people who are uh, less cool than the other guys you hang out with. It's just a fact of life. There's always going to be at least one person out there bringing down the vibe, so to speak. I guess vibe is the word of the day. Been thinking about that one a lot. Chill out, dude. early 2000s Sonic nonsense right there. The vibe, the flow, the shui. No, that wasn't Sonic. That was Batman Beyond, I think, was Shui. It's been a while. It's been a while. Anyway, this video, to not get off track, talk about words and terminology, this video is all about interacting with dickwads and pricks and cheaters and all kinds of less pleasant individuals at your LGS and steps you can take to either A, make your interactions with them more pleasant, or B, make it so that interacting with them is a non-factor. Because yeah, believe it or not, you do have the power to make that not be a thing. First things first, I have written down a nice little list here. I'm going to go down them in rough order. There's very loud cars zipping by. First things first, I want to remind you guys that even if someone else at the store is being unpleasant, if someone else in the group is being loud, obnoxious, disruptive, or just constantly being passive aggressive too, that's another thing. It's very easy to notice when someone's being like an overall dick and being very loud and arrogant or disruptive over their wins or losses or whatever. But equally annoying is like the passive aggressive guys, the guys who are losing a game and go, yeah, well, I really wasn't trying to win anyway. I'm here to have fun and all that jazz. You know the kind of people. Whatever you're dealing with people like this, just remember that because someone else is being a jerk doesn't mean you need to be. In fact, two jerks at the LGS just makes the LGS two jerks worse. So always remember, be polite, be respectful, be friendly with everyone else you can be, but at the same time, don't be afraid to be confrontational. Don't be afraid to talk to someone who's being a jerkwad and go, hey man, calm down, relax. We're gonna have fun. Figure out what the actual issue is. If they're being loud and obnoxious, remind them that this is a public setting and they should be polite and respectful of the people around them. If they're being an overall negative jerk, just remind them that they don't have to be here. They don't have to be a negative twit to all the other people in the room. It's just not something that's necessary. But not everyone that you interact with in a negative way is just going to be someone who's, well, overtly negative. Sometimes you can interact with people who are overall very pleasant people, or at the very least, they put on a pleasant facade, but they're doing other things. They're cheating, they're stealing, whatever. When you encounter people like that, again, remember the core rule is to be polite, be respectful, and all that jazz, but immediately report that shit to the tournament organizer or the store owner, whichever one applies. If someone's cheating, tell the tournament organizer. If someone's stealing, tell the store owner. And 9 times out of 10, they'll take care of it. Or at least most local game stores I have interacted with, I'd like to think would be run by the kind of people who would take care of that pretty much right away. Most local stores I've interacted with have been pretty good about that kind of thing. Lost my train of thought there for a second. But more than just how you interact with things like that, how you don't interact with people like that is just as important. And yeah, remember that you do have the ability to just not interact with these people. There's all kinds of conversations out there about like rule zero conversations you can have in games of Commander to try and get everyone that's on the same page. There's rules and guidelines that can be posted in official stores or whatever, and there's even I've seen it before, like a list of things you can talk to people about to make sure that they're not behaving in certain ways around you. I forget what the stupid rule X or whatever. I forget what it was called. It was really stupid. Yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do in the moment to potentially get someone to be a bit nicer or a bit less aggressive or whatever in the LGS. But remember, you have freedom of association. You have the ability to ultimately decide whether or not interacting with these people is even a possibility. Because, yeah, you don't have to play with awful people. You don't have to play. If someone's a cheater, you don't have to play with them. Period. Like, if you see someone cheating and they aren't being caught and escorted out, you just get up and go. You are not being forced to stay in a store where someone's being a jerk, someone's being loud, someone's being obnoxious, someone's being a passive aggressive little brat for no goddamn reason. You can get up and leave. Say bye to everyone, say, hey, I'm not having a great time. Walk out, go home. More to the point, you also don't have to interact with or engage with people who tolerate that kind of behavior. If you've raised complaints, about an individual's behavior or again, attitude or otherwise to a store or whatever, and they continue to be a problem and no one else really seems to care, you don't have to interact with other people either. If other people tolerate an individual who's being, a particular shit rant to you, you don't have to engage with that person or the people who tolerate them, because that's just not a good situation for you to be in. That's not a good environment for you. You can get up and leave and go somewhere else. And I know the counter argument is always, oh, but then where else will I play? It's the only store in the area. Where else will I play tournaments? And my response to that is, you don't have to play at a local game store. Yes. Do I believe that a local game store is more often than not a great experience that you should at least try to get out to and enjoy? Yeah, I do genuinely believe that. I believe that most game stores out there in America are genuinely good experiences run by genuinely good people, but not everyone's going to have the same experience, and some of them probably are run by pricks and are attended largely by people that you won't agree with. That's going to happen. You don't have to go to a local game store if you are feeling uncomfortable there, if someone there's being a jerk and no one else is doing anything about it. If you've raised concerns to the person in question or to the store owner about someone's behavior and it just doesn't change, you don't have to play there. You can go home and play with friends. Yeah, that's right. People tend to forget that the most common way of playing most games out there is not at the local game store. It's at the kitchen table. I believe it's Mark Rosewater from Wizards of the Coast who had said that kitchen table Magic makes up like 80% of Magic, the Gathering games going on, by their estimation. That's crazy to think about, all things considered. And finding a close-knit friend group who you're comfortable with, who you vibe with, you're all on the same page. That's a huge boon. That is a huge it's a boon. I was trying to think of another word for like a good thing. It's a nice store within the home kind of situation where you have a bunch of people you can get along with that you can have over, or go to their house, obviously, whichever one it ends up being, where you can just enjoy your games with people that are like-minded and you really well vibe with. And I've said it before on the channel, but like a group of like 3 to 6 people that you really get along with can go a long way towards making you feel that really nice close sense of community almost. Sure, the local game store is nice, and having a place you can buy and trade with people and all that jazz is cool, but I can say from experience that there is absolutely nothing wrong with having people over at your place on a regular basis to play games and chat and hang out. Humans have been doing it for thousands of years, just chilling with their bros outside of a store setting, and we will continue to do it for thousands of years. No, AI is not going to cause us all to get plugged into the matrix and, you know, be forced to engage with digi fart coins for digi whoppers. No, it's not going to get rid of that human interaction. Human interaction is the most important part, I think, of trading card games and other video games too, obviously. Board games, RPGs, etc. And yeah, video games. I realize I said video games out of line a few minutes ago, but whatever. The social aspect is the most important aspect for a lot of these games. And if the social environment you find yourself in at the store is not great, don't play at the store. Play at home. Invite some people from the store. If there's people at that store that you really vibe with, invite them over. You know, make sure you trust the people first, obviously. Make sure that you know who you're inviting over. But if you genuinely resonate well with a few people, invite them over for a game day. You know, do what I did the first time I was in a situation like that, where I was in an unfamiliar environment. I didn't really understand this. I didn't really vibe with the store I was at the time. It was 20, I want to say 2018, 2019. I was in a town just hanging out there for a few weeks, and I got some people, and I had them over at the place I was staying, and we just drafted. I think it was Rivals of Ixalan, because they were super cheap. One of the boxes that released around that time was super cheap, so we just got some Magic boxes and drafted them. We all had a great time, and these were people I hung out with for like 2 months. Never saw them again, but we had a great blast just playing Magic every weekend. It was fun stuff. And even now, I have people over here regularly. I know there's other people who show up in the garage. We play role-playing games, we play board games, we play Magic the Gathering, we play Harry Potter. You think I'm the only guy who plays those old dead card games here when I talk about them on the channel? It's not. That's not what happens. I've said before that I'm the kind of guy who learns about these things and learns the rules by actually playing them. So I have people over here all the time that I just play these old card games with, so I can get a good sense of how they feel. And that wouldn't be possible if I didn't have a nice group of friends who vibe with me, who are friendly with me, and all that jazz. And none of them are dicks. I can be a dick sometimes, sure, but I'd like to think that if they're still hanging out with me and still visiting, well then, it's not that bad, is it? But what I'm trying to say in this video is, ultimately, at the end of the day, you are the ultimate decider of your experiences when you're out in public, and what experiences you have with the games you play and enjoy. If someone's being a jerk, you know, try to politely do something about it. If the jerkiness continues, go home and play with friends at home. That's all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree with me. I always like your guys' comments and feedback. I appreciate it greatly. Check out the Discord, the Patreon, the TCG player link. All in the description below. I almost said conversation below. They're all in the description below. Your uncle's old. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day. Ciao. Boop.